Angeles. This is bigger than where we come from. This is about where we go from here. For every OG, every big homie, every little homie, every mother, every father, every person searching for purpose. Welcome.
Under the groove.
Under the groove.
Under the groove.
Yeah. West Coast sun shining while the city come alive. Palm trees in the breeze, another day to survive. I seen pain in the streets, I seen dreams in the struggle. Seen people lose hope, then rebuild from the rubble. Every set got a story, every block got a past. Every scar got a lesson if you willing to ask. Little homie on the corner, looking for direction. Searching for respect, searching for acceptance. Big homie put them
closer, listen young man.
Your life
Worth more than the weapon in your hand.
Real power ain't fear, real power is control. It's the knowledge in your mind and the strength in your soul.
Put down the guns, pick up the wisdom. Put down the hate, find your vision.
A mind awakened is a force that can't break. Consciousness is the path that we gotta create.
Under the groove, where knowledge becomes wisdom, where struggle becomes strength, where family builds together and we break those chains. What's under your groove?
Is it love?
Is it purpose?
Is it purpose?
Is it unity?
Is it community?
Wake up black people, it's time we elevate. The future in our hands. We can't afford to wait. Under the groove.
And know that, you know. Hold on. My bad. Thought I was ready, but I wasn't. Knowledge becomes wisdom. Bear with me, y'all. Y'all know how it go. It's too big. There we go. All right, I can live with that. All right, there it is. All right, man, you are Under the Groove, man. Welcome to Under the Groove Podcast, everybody. Here I am, and there you are. Yeah, it's one of them days. Never worry, Flavor Flurry, as they say. Man, Antonio, I see you up in here, man. Man, peaceful, blessful, man, prosperous Tuesday, each and every one of you. For all of you who tapping in, man, always, man, it's an honor to see you guys amongst us. Get out, RGC especially, all love and respect. Y'all know how that go, man. I ain't gonna talk about that too long. It is what it is. All right, we are Under the Groove, everybody. Please like, share, follow, comment. Come on, it ain't gonna hurt you to say what's on your mind. Comment, drop your thoughts in the get down, and subscribe. All right, for each and every one of you who are new to this get down, come on in, man. Come on in, man. This is for you. All right, real spit. Again, happy Tuesday. All right, prosperous, blessful Tuesday. Antonio, I see you up in here, man. Peace, prosperity, love, and salute as always. Lisa Moore, front and center. I'm gonna give you first prize today. You know. Andy, Antonio, you just here. You too consistent, man. You ain't getting nobody a chance, man. Lisa Moore, she said, Grand Rising, Brother Bud. Blessings to you and the RGC family. Peace and love. B1 does equal black first here on this get down. I can't speak for anywhere else. I've heard it before. I've heard it said, you know. In fact, they say this thing is old by years. B1, black first. Be that as it may, we push it better, you know what I mean? It's not a competition. Don't get me wrong, but, you know, we pushing that. Black first, y'all. Good to see everybody up in here. Let me say it like that. Uh-oh, I'm a little too high on this get down. Let me adjust this thizzle. Let me adjust this thizzle, man. There we go. Man, let me adjust this thing, man. 1 second, everybody. There you go. All right. What they say, points seen, money gone back in the day. Here we are. So yeah, man, again, it's an honor to be here. I appreciate the fact that I'm able to be here. Enough said. Listen, I want to continue on this wavelength, this thought process where we're discussing our brothers and sisters, man. We're trying to, break through this mindset a lot of them have about this get down that they're involved in that really doesn't benefit not just themselves, their families, but any of us. There's a lot at work that's behind the scenes. A lot of these brothers and sisters ain't figured out yet. I think our job, or let me be just straight up, man, I think our obligation is to let these young brothers and sisters know what they're up against. And see, the cold part about that, us lacing them, is that we didn't get it until it was too late. So we want to, cut it off at the path. You know what I'm saying? We want to make sure we get it to them before it's too late. I think that's our obligation. That's our work, man. And that's why, we, discuss the things we discuss. We drop or we hand off them gems the way we do to our brothers and sisters, because we want them to not have to go through what we went through. We want them to forego that shit. We don't want to see our young brothers and sisters forfeit them lives, man, over something that has that doesn't even matter when we're talking about this equation that consists of us. Not just the individual, but his family and all those who are connected to it. You know what I'm saying? So this is why we on this, man. This is why we do this, That's love, and respect for our young brothers and sisters who at this stage, at this point, they just don't get it yet. And I think, though, the objective is to keep pushing it. Keep pressing. Keep pressing. Our obligation, man, is to let our young brothers and sisters know, man, what awaits them in this get down, man. And it ain't nothing nice. It ain't anything beneficial. It doesn't create prosperity for you, identity, unity, love, respect. It does not. That's just the way it's built. All right? So in that vein, man, in that line, how we've been getting down for last week or so, I want to continue that, I've been included some clips into this get down, man. In each and every clip, and I try to do this, I hope that I'm making a point, or a point is being made when I include these clips about us, our people. Each and every clip has something to do with us. And in most cases, why we're in the position we're in. There's nothing normal about this shit, man. So don't stop thinking that it is. Stop thinking that this is the way it's supposed to be. Stop thinking that this is our culture, because it's not. It has nothing to do with who we are as a people, individually and collectively. Nah, this is some manufactured shit, man, that we fell victim to. And in the process of falling victim to this shit, we jumped on the horse, grabbed the reins, and we're riding this thing into the ground. This ain't us, y'all. That's all. This ain't us. Our young brothers and sisters need to know, man, the traps that lay before them, the pitfalls, the barriers, the boundaries, all that would subject them to not just a sense of inferiority. I don't know if they actually feel that way or think that way, but it subjects them to this state of mind where, damn, they're looking at a situation where they can't win, that, everything is against them. And in some parts, that's true. That's true. In some respects, that's how they built it. That's how they manufactured it. But we need to get our young brothers and sisters to understand that they're bigger than that. They're stronger than that. They have more power than what is presented before them. A lot of us tend to think that the powers that be run everything, and that would include us. But that's not the truth. A lot of what's going on is deception. Again, it's manufactured. And once we get to the crux of the problem, we not overstand what it is, man. We work from there. We start to build ourselves up, man, separate from the BS that was laid before us to have us think and act, behave the way we do. That's all that is, man. That's all we pushing on Under the Groove podcast. I mean that, Again, I don't care about no set shit. I don't care about no hood shit, no gang shit. All that shit is detrimental to us as a people. We're helping them to destroy us. And there's a reason why we need to be destroyed. This is what we want to get to the crux of. Why do they think this way? Why do they feel that we are a threat? There's something behind that shit. You know what I mean? So that's what I would like to address. That's what we continue to address every single day on this podcast. You're not going to come here, man, and we're not going to be berating brothers, disrespecting sisters, talking about gang. All that shit, man, that doesn't add anything to the pot but negativity. We ain't with that. We're not with that. We're saying to you brothers and sisters, hey, man, y'all stronger than y'all know. You individuals, I'm about to say you motherfuckers, and excuse me, but you individuals, you black young men and women, are damn superheroes, man. Y'all don't even know it. Y'all don't even know it. And see, y'all don't know it because we didn't know it until it's too late. Until we were in the thick of things. Until we had to go through a whole lot of things. We had to go through something to get to where we are now. We want to make sure that you guys don't have to go that route. That's why we on what we on. When we say you brothers and sisters are superheroes, you are all powerful, that's some real spit. Imagine a nuclear power plant in any country of the world that profess to be civilized. They all have them. They generate energy, right? They light up their societies, their communities, the blocks, their streets. Each and every one of you is a damn power source, akin to a power plant. Each and every one of you. But they don't want us to know this shit, man. And it's a reason for that shit. It's a reason that they would have us think we're inferior. That the power is not in us. You know what I mean? There's a reason for that shit. But each and every one of you brothers and sisters, young and or old, is a power source. Is a source of power, energy. You've been imbibed with it. You are born with it. It's in your DNA. We have the God gene, but we've been told otherwise. It's the reason why they teach slavery more than they do the accomplishments of the black man and woman throughout the world, throughout time. It's a reason for that shit. If I could continue to indoctrinate young black boys and girls with negativity, inferiority, guess how they're going to grow up? Negative and inferior. That's how they grow up. That's what's been done to us, y'all. Again, we are power plants. We are akin to superheroes compared to everyone else. That's not a lie. That's not made up. That's not a lie, and it's not made up. We have abilities. We have certain energies no one else possesses. It's a reason for that. I'm not a religious person. I'm very spiritual. But I understand that there's something at work. We've been anointed. We've been sanctioned as those people. I know we hear it often enough that the European Ashkenazi, the white Jew, is God's chosen. That's a lie. It's a lie. They're usurping our position that whoever the creator is, whatever the creator is, assigned to us. They're trying to take that. We can't let that happen. We can't let that shit happen, man. The same energy we put towards this BS that we see ourselves, exposing or, putting in the work out there in these streets is that same energy we supposed to be applying to our well-being, our growth, our maturity, to our family, our communities. That's what that's for, man. It's about building. It's about progression, evolution. It's not about destroying, destruction, and devolving. Ain't what it's about. But again, this shit is manufactured, man, and this is why we go through what we go through. So that being said, man, I'm gonna stay the course. That's all I know to do. But I'm doing that in this respect in a righteous way. There's nothing unjust what I'm doing. There's nothing sinful or wicked about what I'm doing. It's all righteous, man, and I know it in my core. Ancestors telling me that, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm on that like that, So if I'm able to relate and communicate with ancestors, so are you. But it has to start somewhere. You brothers and sisters have to start making decisions that are wise. Even at your age, you can be wise. You know what I mean? You can represent wisdom. And that could be explained or displayed in how we carry ourselves. That's what this shit is about, man. They want us to be ignorant, murderous towards one another. Ain't that something? Towards one another more than anything or anyone else. That's just manufactured, man. All right? That's some manufactured stuff. They'd rather see us doing this to each other rather than doing it to those who would deserve it most. That's what they'd rather see. And this is what we've been giving them. We have to stop giving them that, man. We have to stop giving them that. So I'm going to stay the course, like I said. I got some shit in here. I want to start first and foremost with this brother. Excuse me. This brother, man, in spite of whatever. One thing we ought to know about us, black folk, melanated persuasion. I don't care if we're black American, African American, FBA, anywhere throughout the diaspora. We all have this ability. We all have this seventh sense. In fact, we got like 20 senses. They only tell us about 5 or 6. We got like 20 of them, y'all. We know bullshit when we hear. We know when people think or others think we ain't about it. Or they think we're inferior, we're ignorant, unintelligent, and all that shit. We know this shit. We know this shit, man. Because it's been passed down through the ages, man, through the DNA. I got something I want to share with y'all with this brother. This brother, y'all know him, man, just on sight. You know this brother. All right, I'm going to drop this, man. And just listen to what he's saying. Listen to what he's saying. And this goes specifically to the gang individuals. The bangers. The street dudes, man, that's out there, man, wreaking havoc. Not just on the communities, man, but themselves. You know what I mean? Listen to what he's saying, man. Real spit shit right here. All right. And this is for your edification.
And what y'all think? I don't care if you think you a lawyer, if you a man, if you an African American, if you whatever the fuck you think you are. We thugs and niggas to these motherfuckers.
That's all we are to them, man. But it's bigger than that. We're way more than that. But the more they put that out there about us, you know what? The more we begin to believe them. That's part of that tactic. That's part of that playbook. The more they say this negative shit about us, the more we begin to latch on to that shit and actually believe it. It's part of the plan.
And until we own some shit, I'm going to call it like it is.
What we own? You brothers and sisters, man, on these corners, hanging on this shit. We don't even own that shit. And we call ourselves representing that. There's no real representation in something, man, unless you control it. Unless you invest in it to such a point where, you know, it's beneficial to you and everyone else in the community. That would include your family. If that ain't how it is, man, listen, man, we just some bunch of ninjas hanging on streets, man. They ain't owning nothing. Don't run shit.
How you gonna be a man and we starving? Go ahead. You know? And we you can walk by 5 different houses, ain't a man in either one of them motherfuckers. How we gonna be a man? How we gonna be African Americans? And we out here dying. We done, and we niggas until we set this shit right. Trust me when I tell you that shit. I don't care what y'all
One
think.
more time.
I don't care if you think you a lawyer, if you a man, if you an African American, if you whatever the fuck you think you are. We thugs and niggas to these motherfuckers. You know, and until we own some shit, I'ma call it like it is. How you gonna be a man and we starving? Go ahead. You know, and you can walk by 5 different houses, ain't a man in either one of them motherfuckers. How we gonna be a man? How we gonna be African Americans? We out here dying. We thugs and we niggas until we set this shit right. Trust me when I tell you that shit.
Straight up. Straight up. Just think about that, man. I just wanted to drop that from Pac, man. We are what we are to them until such time we change. Not their perception of us, but our own perception of us. That's when that shit will change. See, we see ourselves how they identify us. Ninjas and thugs. Hoodlums and all this shit. Low lives. Don't want nothing, ain't got nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think it's necessary the aspect of possessions. You know, that's another part of their game in that respect. I think it's more about identity. Us identifying with who the hell we are, what we come from, who we come from, who set us here, and why is our purpose, or what is our purpose as a result of. You know what I mean? That's what I think it is, man. But like Pac say, man, I don't care what you think you got or who the hell you think you are. It don't matter, man, to them. You're still a ninja. You're still a thug and a hoodlum. I don't care how much money you got. You get around certain aspects of them people, man, their view of who you are and where you come from is not going to change. They'll shake your hand, smile in your face, invite you over for dinner. But there's always an ulterior motive. That's the part we're missing. As a people, that's what we're missing. We're better than every bit of that. You know what I mean? We just don't know it. All right, here's another one. And this one's going to get a little deep. What I appreciate about it is what's being told about the participants in that peculiar institution. All right? Who was really involved. And to this day, who say that they're our friends. They're our brothers. Be mindful of this shit, man. All this shit is manufactured, man, and it's done for a reason. It's done to keep us ignorant of what the truth is and how or where we're supposed to be as a people in this society. All right, get a bar of this. All right.
Y'all check this out. Don't make no sense.
Listen.
So things get really deep when you look into the tiny hats and slavery. Yes, this was left out of the history books because guess who owned?
All right. Right quick, I ain't gonna interrupt too much, but when they teach us, you know, in school, they teach us this shit, but they don't tell you the truth. They don't tell you who's involved. The real culprits right in our face, but we work with them. We were just talking about last night and Thursday how we have Stockholm Syndrome with all of those who've done us wrong, who've wronged us. And still we associate with them, we affiliate, we're connected to them, and we look at them as brothers and friends. Now, yeah, if you look at the date of that, man, that 300 years ago, damn near. Right? 200 some years ago. It ain't changed, man. It's a little more subtle now, but it hasn't changed. You know, it's still in effect. Get a bar of this.
owns the history books, those tiny hats over here. And when we look at who owned all the
Look at who owned them. Look at that shit. Some of you brothers and sisters may know about this, and I'm willing to wager a lot of you don't. Look at the contents, the table of contents. Read what it says. All right, y'all got that? Watch this.
slaves and were the slave traders and the auctioneers, tiny hats, and who
Do y'all know who the tiny hats are? Well, we call them the tiny black hats. But their names are right there in print. You see it. But they aren't the real ones. They're the ish ones.
who owned the newspapers, tiny hats, and then who also created the division. Oh, I think you're starting to understand it. And then you also find about the exploitation of the slaves and
Read that. The tiny hats participated in every aspect and process of the exploitation of the defenseless blacks. That's what they called us. The tiny hats did this shit. The same ones who run entertainment, sports, you know, all the celebrities who sign contracts with them, they're all a part of this get down. And they know damn well what's going on. They don't care, man. You know, Tiny Hats told me, man, you can live high on the hog better than your people. You know, but as the saying goes, how can I, you know, why would I rise above my people? Why would I rise and not bring my people with me? There's a reason for that shit. How can a black man or woman feel like they've ascended, they've reached that mark, and their people are still beneath them? It's a reason for this shit.
how they treated people. Obviously, they're not going to
All right?
tell anybody this part. And then it also gets interesting when you find out that the tiny hats were defending that they should stay slaves. Mm-hmm. Isn't that interesting?
They never wanted us to be free, as the saying goes. That's something they didn't want. You know why? Because it was too prosperous. They were making a killing off of us. So to so-called free us would cut into their dividends. All right? Now, when you really get into it, you find out who really had a hand in this shit. Names start coming up. And the same family line exists today. And so this is why you might hear this blowback or this pushback saying, ain't no reparation. We ain't getting nobody reparations on nothing. You know why? Because those family names who pushed that shit the way they did would be the ones responsible for paying reparations. And with all their hundreds of trillions of dollars, they still can't see themselves right and wrong.
And people would say, no, that would never happen, really. Slave dealing was an extremely profitable business. And this is where it always ties back to the Rothschilds.
All right, y'all see that? Let me read that. All right. They said the little black hats were white. And this very fact goes a long way towards accounting for the measurability, higher social and political status achieved by the little black hats in the South than in the North. All right? Foreign observers like Solomon D. Rothschild and I.J. Benjamin were acutely aware of,
like I've always talked about.
Now all of a sudden y'all saying that Jewish people are basically the reason that the slave trade happened, which is true. You're saying Jewish people were the main ones that owned slaves. Some of that's true. You're
Stay with me, man. I'm going to connect this shit for y'all, all right?
trying to absolve all white people. No, Jewish people are white people. You can't be fooled by that. When you read in Revelation chapter 12, the Bible says the great red dragon has 7 heads and 10 horns. And one of those 7 heads and 10 horns would try to kill Christ as he was born. Well, who tried to kill Christ as he was born? Herod. Herod was the one that wanted to kill Jesus Christ when he was born. And that was one of those heads of that.
Go and read that right quick. Edomite, his ancestry. He descended from an Edomite.
Dragon. The heads of the dragon are the seven great Edomite, meaning Caucasian kingdoms. Those 10 horns
Oh shit! I wish I could
are the
have
10
that.
common markets. Revelation chapter 2 verse 9 says, I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy
Read that.
with them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. In the last days, the eagle rules this earth. Who is the eagle? Esau. You read about that in Obadiah, read that about that in Daniel 7, and 2 Esdras chapter 12. Stop trying to excuse these people. On one hand, black folks were saying, oh, Jewish people had nothing to do with it. Jewish people have always fought along black people's side all these years. Now black people, because white people are now saying, oh, Jewish people had everything to do with the slave trade, and it wasn't the Caucasians that live here in America. You're a fool. You're tossed with every wind of doctrine. Grow up, learn the word of God. You're the Israelites. All nations hate you, and all white people are the same. Whether you call them Jewish Caucasian, French Caucasian, Spanish Caucasian, American Caucasian, British Caucasian, they're all Edomites. And God's going to judge them all.
All right. You know, and again, man, I just say, well, I don't have to say, man. I think there's truth in some of everything we hear and we learn. There's some truth, just as there are a lot of falsehoods and lies. You know what I mean? So we have to be mindful of that shit. But when you do the math, we're going to do some math in here. If the math don't math up, man, or if it does, come on. These same people, the little black hats, they never relinquished us as property to be exploited for profit. Never. When we discussed the NAACP and all these organizations that started back in the early 20th century, all that shit to me, man, was part of the get down, a plot, I think. Here we are, 21st century, 2026. Most of our brothers and sisters are employed by the little black hats, especially those who make great, large sums of money. No job pays $6 million a year, man. But they pay athletes that type of money. Why? It's a form of entertainment. Also, it's done to keep people distracted. The same people, man, who had a hand in the Colosseum and all that shit that's going on back in Roman days are the same people today. The same people who had a hand in the peculiar institution in the United States and other locations throughout the world where it was going down are the same people today. Real spit. Real spit. That peculiar institution never ended. It just evolved. It became a little less, it became subtle. It wasn't as harsh as we read about it in the textbooks. It's a little more subtle, man. A little more digestible. A lot of our brothers and sisters who are involved in these industries are slaves. And they're employed to enslave the minds of the rest of us. I'm just saying. These people, man, have a hand in this get out. And this get out is to keep us in bondage psychologically, physically, and they're working on the spiritual aspect of it. They're working on us spiritually. Don't think that they're not. They're trying to figure this shit out, man, to get full control of our whole person. Not just the mind and the body. They're going after the spirit. And I was saying this yesterday. They're working on the children. They're putting in real work on our children. Shit is evident, man. All we got to do is look at it. you know? But hey, all this shit, man, is happening for a reason. This shit exists only that, or so that they can remain in power, so that we will continue to be ignorant of who the hell we are and what our real energy and power is. Like I said, man, we're like mini power plants. Our energy, man, is unmatched. It's incomparable. No one can match it. But that's only when we come into the realization of it. You know what I mean? And that's what they're attempting to avoid from happening. They're at work making sure that doesn't happen. But you see it. You see these sparks. You see these activations in a lot of our brothers and sisters who, for whatever reason, out of nowhere, they'll say something we ain't know them to say ever. But what's being said, it touches on, or it exposes the system in some form or fashion. The shift is occurring. They're at work, man, to try to stop the shift, to stop that movement, to stop the awakening, man. These people are running everything, man. And as long as we continue to participate in the shit that they put before us, they will. They'll run everything. For them, man, it's just about control and power. It's about greed and money. These aren't spiritual people. You know, these people are not connected to an energy that's greater than themselves. They, you know, come on. And they're trying to disconnect us from that power. And I'm telling you, that's a cold endeavor to take up. Because, see, we're connected. See, this is how powerful they think they've become. They think they're powerful enough to disconnect us from that which made us. From that which decided that, you know, there will come a time. Our purpose is at hand. They're trying to fight against that energy, that source that deemed this will all be necessary. You know, I don't know who can say that they're doing a good job or not. I think they're in the fight. That's for damn sure. They're in the fight. All right, that being said, man, I got another one. One more. And this is them speaking. See, we so lost, man, in this bullshit, in these little enclaves, man, where we reside, where we exist, that we don't even see the world, man. We're not even tapping in. We're not even connecting. And we're them people. We're supposed to be able to connect with not just other people, other beings, but with nature and everything, man. That's our purpose. You know what I mean? It's like they're getting it and we're not. They see what we are either reluctant to see, or in denial, or you know, or what we just can't see because we're so engrossed, we're so distracted with the bullshit. They see this shit. It's as if more white people are waking up to what the shift is, to what the real energy is, to who we really are, more than we are. That's still dangerous. That's dangerous for us. Check this one out. Check this one out. And I have to say, I thought this was the most powerful out of all of them. That's just me. Let me know what y'all think about this one.
This is how I see it, and I'm going to keep saying this until the day I die. I believe that many white people feel powerless around black men and women because black people carry an inherent power.
Y'all hear that shit? Man, this ain't no shit we making up, I'm making up, or any other brother and sister that speak truth to power. You know, we got this thing where we say power to the people. Oh, man. That ain't really how that go. That's not really how that should be said. The power is in the people, inherently. So you call it God, the Most High, whatever, that energy, that source, it is a part of you. It is a part of you. Plain and simple. We are the first. we will be the last. We are the Alpha and the Omega, man. We're connected to every bit of that. You know what I'm saying? And we just don't get it. We have the power and we don't even fucking know it, man. Everybody know it but us. We stuck on dumb shit. You go on YouTube all day long, you see dumb shit that brothers and sisters are posting. If brothers ain't at each other's throats, and the crazy part about that is, before all that, they were cool. If sisters ain't twerking and showing, you know, the moose, whatever they call that shit, camel toe and all that twerking, and hey man, if we ain't doing that, it ain't about nothing. That's how far we've fallen. But these people who are not even of us, who are not like us, they still see the power. As we degrade, they still see our essence, our power, the power that was imbibed in us, that was given to us, literally. They see it better than we do. Listen to what she's saying, man.
It's an essence, an aura, an energy that exists whether anyone acknowledges it or not. I don't even know if all black men and women even realize that they carry it, but
God damn. And most of us don't. I'm speaking for Bub right now. I'm just now coming into this realization. So every time I tell y'all, hey man, this shit is like damn near a fucking a firestorm in me. It's lighting up. It's lit. It's activated. And let me be 100. Sometimes, man, I don't know what to. I be scared. Just my thoughts, like, hey, damn. And I want to curtail them. I want to slow them down, but at the same time, something said, no, man, you got to let that rage. You have to let that flame, that activation come into its power, you know, into what it's supposed to be. People see this shit that we don't see or acknowledge in ourselves. And that's the fear. We see it exhibited in their behavior, in their words, how they interact. We don't see it. These people came to, I imagine that every black man and woman that walks by one of these people, there's like a halo. There's this force that emanates from them. And this is why this may be some of why we get the attitude we get, because it's jealousy. It's a hatred that they acknowledge internally that they were not chosen to be whatever the Most High, God, or whatever that is, that decided that we are the people. That's all that is, man. They want what they think will receive at the end of this shit. The Alpha and Omega, the beginning to the end, the first or the last. They want what they see or what they think we got coming to us. They want it undeservingly. But the coldest part about that is, damn, man, we had to start asking ourselves, do we even deserve it? We're not recognizing the anointment, being sanctioned as the one. The one. That's some crazy shit. That's some fascinating shit, man.
But I do. And I think the same white men and women who believe they hold all the power, the ones clutching that fake sense of power, they have no idea what they're actually feeling when they find themselves in the presence of a black man or a black woman. Something shifts. They begin to feel smaller, and that feeling becomes a threat. And the only reason they feel small is because they don't understand what they're experiencing. It's unfamiliar. When something is unfamiliar, it's easy to label it as wrong, as a threat, as dangerous. So it must be destroyed. I've never heard one of these white people admit this out loud. I've never even heard another white person publicly talk about this. And as far as I know, I'm the first person to put words to this publicly. And if someone else has, please tell me. I genuinely love to hear their perspective and their experience. And the reason that I'm going to keep talking about it is because I believe that maybe, not in my lifetime, but
in her lifetime. In her lifetime. Watch.
somewhere down the line, those same white men and women will begin to recognize that feeling. Maybe they still won't fully understand it, but instead of fearing it, they'll become curious about it. They'll start inviting Black men and women to the table. They'll start asking questions. They'll start having these uncomfortable yet brilliant conversations that will lead to a deeper awareness of themselves. I think that love begins to grow from a place of that kind of awareness. And maybe that's where racism starts to fade. Maybe that level of awareness is the cure. Or maybe I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. And the last thing I'll say is this. I have found myself standing in the presence of Black men and women where I became intensely aware of the energy in the room. I knew it wasn't coming from me. I knew that it was way bigger than I could comprehend. So instead of resisting it, I chose to embrace it. And then I started looking for the same kind of energy within myself. So if you're a white man or a white woman, and you know exactly what feeling I'm talking about, that feeling is not a threat. It isn't dangerous. And you can cultivate that same kind of presence within yourself, but only if you're willing to embrace it instead of fear it. And if you're going to leave some bullshit ass comments below, you're a part of the problem. But you're also entitled to your opinion. So, welcome.
Now, real, right quick. I don't think she's the only one that sees it like that or feels that way. What is that presence you think they attribute that to? What is that energy? Don't nobody else possess that shit, man. Or this energy, man. Nobody. No one. For each and every one of us throughout the diaspora, man, we possess that. Even those who don't realize they do. It's always the other people that see, not the potential, but the energy emanating from us. She's not the only one in a room full of people and boom, in we walk, or there we are, and that space is electric, so to speak, full of energy, man. Part of our property. That's part of what makes us us. That energy, man, was given to nobody but us, man, and we the only ones who don't recognize or realize it, or we don't recognize or realize it on the scale that we should as a people. So that means then what they're doing is kind of working. It's working. We have to admit that. Because each and every one of us could point to something that we know is wrong in terms of how we see ourselves and each other and how we go about dealing with that. We know it ain't right. You know what I mean? This is every day, man. In the streets of LA, all the way, to New York City, the Big Apple, and everything in between. Ain't no doubt about that shit, man. Ain't no doubt about it. But I found that piece right there to be the most powerful of all of them. I find this one to be powerful also. So this will be the last one. And y'all tell me what y'all think, man. Again, and this thing is about us, man, as a people, man. Us getting to the point where we acknowledge and are no longer denying, our power, man, and who we are, That's the only way I can put that.
I am lost. I am lost. I am lost.
You realize realize how big of a threat that is to a lot of people. Just to see us unified, walking together. Excuse me. That's a threat. That's a threat. For all the wrong reasons. All right. Let me jump in there, man. These comments, man. RGC is in the house. All right. Excuse me. Appreciate each and every one of you that's up in here, man. Let's get it in, man. Roscoe, what it do? Raymond Skull already, man. Peace and prosperity. You know what it do, bro. Love you, man. Respect you. I send mine out, man, to each and every one of the Rays, that Ray family, man, from Pasadena, Inglewood, LA. May each and every one of you be in the best of care, man, and safe. All right? I just want to put it to you like that. Appreciate you, bro. You said, what to do, bub? Peace to the RGC. Right back to you, bro. Pope! What to do, Pope? So what's on my mind is today is your day, big bro. One thing I don't let happen is I am who I am because I have to count that too, bub. It's a blessing to see you evolve into a platform that's trying to energize our people. Thank you, big bro, for UTG. What up, RGC? I'm on the Disney Ranch today, but I got time today for my folk. There it is, man. All love and respect. Let me read that again, man. I'm a little choked up, you know. Anyway, say, what's on my mind? What's on my mind is today is your day, big bro, big bub. One thing I don't let happen is, make sure I'm saying this right. One thing I don't let happen is I am who I am because of who I was. I have to count that too, big bub. It's a blessing to see you involved into a platform that's trying to energize our people. Thank you, big bro, for UTG. What up, RGC? I'm on Disney Rant today, but I got time today for my folks, and we appreciate your presence, bro, as always. Real spit. Raymond Scott say, bro, I just seen an update about Malcolm X assassination. A black FBI named Ray Wood admitted on his deathbed that they did it, but framed the Nation of Islam members. I'm going to send you the clip. That's fine. Send me that. But no, man, listen, y'all. It's always about divide and conquer. Divide and rule. One of the quickest ways to turn us against each other, man, is to make something seem like one of us did it rather than them. That's easy. For them, that's easy. See, because we're already coming up in the system, man, or the cesspool where we've been indoctrinated to not trust one another, to steal from each other, to lie, to kill. That's the indoctrination. Again, we're talking about a script that they work from and have been working from for a long time, man. This shit ain't new. It's not new. We see this occurring even today. You go to the continent of Africa, they get brothers to do their dirty work against other brothers. You know? And the brother, whether he did it or not, always gets thrown under the bus. The real culprit always gets away. We know who they are. You know what I mean? So we want to be able to share that or be able to express the same get out or what I just gave an example of or what you just did, Roscoe, in terms of saying, hey, man, this FBI agent, Ray Wood, said, yeah, man, the FBI actually did that, but they blamed the NOI. It's the same shit, man, all over the world, man, when it comes to us, man. So we got brothers here in, let's say, California. And brothers are at each other's throats. And I have to say, man, for the most part, initially, A lot of them never knew why they got involved in this shit anyway. You know what I mean? What really occurred. Because the truth of the matter is nobody really knows. When shit is like mysterious and shit, you know, when you talk about the passing or the unaliving of Raymond Washington, nobody knows that shit. Who knows? Bunchy Carter, you know? And they say they sent Karanga to do that. Who really know? But the fact of the matter is a lot of our people do help them achieve these goals. Fred Hampton, a so-called brother, made it possible for them to do that. It goes on and on, man. It goes on and on. Huey Newton, they said, oh, so-and-so, a brother did that. Da, 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 da. Were you there? Have you ever read a confession? And I mean the one from the horse's mouth, not something on black and white. You know? This is a serious game they playing, man. This is a serious game that they orchestrate, that they set the rules to. One that we're playing not serious enough. You know what I mean? That's the problem. So when we got brothers and sisters out here in California, just like I said, for instance, that are at the mischievous work that they're at, a lot of them don't even know the fundamentals of why this shit is what it is. A lot of mamas and daddies didn't even exist at the time, you know? Can't nobody say what was what weren't there. But we do know that COINTELPRO was there, that they existed. We know this. We know about what Edgar J. Hoover said about the black community and its messiahs. Come on, man. By any means, man, they would not allow one to rise up from the population. They would do what they have to do to rid themselves of that threat. And that's what they've been doing. Hey, man, this shit ain't new, man. Ain't none of this shit new. What would be new if we decided to say, man, you know what? Enough. I don't want to hear that shit. Matter of fact, we're not going to pay this shit no attention. What's our objective? What's our agenda? What is it we must be doing to bring not just peace to each and every one of us in our community, man, but dignity, identity, love, respect, you know, positivity, prosperity, all that shit that tend to matter. You know, what must we do? You know, we throwing it out there, man. There's all kind of suggestions and solutions, ideas for us to get it together, man. But there's a lot at work against us, man. And I'm going to tell you, again, I'm on the same note. I ain't went nowhere. A lot of that work that's against us come from our own community. And we tend to think that, okay, man, oh, these dudes is tripping. We're not really understanding how they are being manipulated. Again, man, most of us don't really know any better. Because this is all we know. This has been in our communities for decades. You know what I mean? Hold their feet to the fire when, hey, man, shit. The reality is a lot of us ain't know no better. I think the only time that they could become accountable is when they in the know. And they said some things to let you know, oh, that light went on in their minds, even in their spirits, you know. There was some type of activate, something occurred. And yet they go against that. That's when you say, hey, all right now, hey, we got to do something about you. Other than that, man, we're dealing with a lot of ignorance, man. We're dealing with a lot of ignorance. Our brothers and sisters, man, are fighting a war for the enemy, man. They're assisting the enemy in deleting us as a people. And it ain't always physically. It's not always through the cemetery. It's psychological. It could be financial. It could be political. Educationally. You know what I mean? There's so many depths that could be, committed on individuals, man, as well as a group, man. This shit, man, sometimes you can't even got a name for them. In most cases, the only thing we think about in terms of some type of depth, we think about it physically. We don't think about the depth economically. We don't think about our depths politically or educationally. We don't think about depth like that. You know what I mean? So then we tend not to focus on that shit. We tend to think, oh, that's okay. That's not even in the balance. The only thing that's really in the balance is my life, whether I live or die. You know what I mean? That's our problem. We don't even see how they're killing us before they even kill us physically. That's how messed up we are, man. That's how messed up we are. And like I say, man, for all of those who dance to the tune of the little black hats, man, damn, man, they the worst of us. They're worse than our brothers and sisters in the streets, man, in that gang culture. They are worse than them. Can each one of you name me 5 so-called entertainers, athletes, movie stars, or whatever. Name me 5 of them who had something to say about all the shit that's been going on in the last month or two. That stepped out and said, hey, man, I'm against this shit. This is wrong. They're killing our brothers and sisters. We're in a rigged game where the goalposts keep moving. Name me 5. I'll wait. But yeah, Roscoe, I'm just saying, bro, in all reality, man, that brother, Ray Woods, I think that's what you said his name was, Ray Wood, yeah, man, he could have been a scapegoat, or he could have been just another brother led astray. Another brother led astray. I'm trying to recall the brother's name that actually helped with Fred Hampton's demise. How they gave him a liquor store. Gave him a liquor store. No, a gas station. Gave him a gas station. But turned around a couple of decades later and said he committed suicide. That he ran on the highway, screaming and hollering that lost his mind. Nah. This shit been in effect, bro. And again, I say we the type of people, Ben, we already know what the histories say. We're well aware. Even for those who are ignorant, literally, and I'm talking about in terms of books, knowing the history, being well read, or knowing about what's occurred, there's still something that's in them that makes them aware, that allows them to know through frequency, vibes, or whatever, something ain't right. We still have them, And again, the only time and the only way any of us would disregard any of it is because we do it consciously. We make the decision to pay no heed to it, to be saying, I don't care. The Officer Tatum types, the Hodge brother types, there are a whole lot of them. There are a whole lot of them that help this system, this manipulation along the way. A whole lot, man. I hope I'm making sense, man, because there's a whole lot on my mind, and yet still, I'm pretty sure about what the hell I'm talking about. And again, when we're talking about our young brothers and sisters in the communities, man, we have to acknowledge that they're under the spell too, just as a lot of us were. I think that the only difference between back then and now is that there are brothers and sisters who are outspoken. And not only that, there is this apparatus in place to where we can get the message out a lot quicker today than we could have 40 years ago, 50 years ago. And yet, we're not utilizing this apparatus or technology to such an extent to where anything and everything that we're putting on social media is for the betterment, the empowerment of the people. I'm just saying, man, you know, and again, if I'm saying something don't make sense, please let me know. That's what the chat for. This is what the RGC chat is for. All right? But there that go. Folks say, man, Roscoe, man, you was spitting some real yesterday, but sometimes I get caught up in trying to let the Spirit lead me because what I can't get across, God can. But always glad to see you. All right. Queen Nzinga's in the house. She say, man, peace and blessing, kings and queens in the RGC. Right back to you. Peace and prosperity, you, love and respect. All right. Good to see you. You and Sister Lisa Moore. Y'all always front and center. That made me think about Kimberly Mitchell, man, C1, you know, a few others, man. We haven't seen in a few days, but that's okay, you know. May everything be everything with them queen sisters. Polk said, man, stealing damages the mental health and safety of the person who steals while destroying the trust and security of the victim. All right. What, did I miss something, Queen Nzinga? No. Queen Nzinga said, real talk. They're okay with us hurting one another, but if you hurt one of theirs, everything changes. That's to get down. Raymond said, I seen this pop clip earlier. Yeah, man. And I'm telling you, that's truth to power, though. Again, man, that's what they want. They prefer that we ninjas and thugs rather than aware black men and women. You know what I mean? On our game. See, that would be a detriment to them. As long as we're in the mindset we're in, or the mind state that we're in, we're a profit to these people. We are a benefit to these people. They've established the world throughout the world, businesses that exploit consumerism, culture, you name it. Little black hats. Think about it, man. And we're no different from all the others who've fallen. And I have a problem with saying fallen victim to the machination or the exploits, the games they play. Because I know for a fact we're well aware of what's happening. The majority of us. You know, and again, I admit that there are some of us who are not. And then there are some of us who are just in denial. They would rather get along with them and prove to them that they're a part of the program rather than call them on the BS that we know exists every day of our lives. That's a fact, man. You know. So when are we going to change the situation? We know what it is. Folks said, man, God's word tells us not to steal because you're stealing from him. Because you're stealing from him, you're stealing from his creation. All right. God's word tells us to not steal because you stealing from him, you're stealing from his creation. All right. Got you, bro. What it do, Henry? Always good to see you up in there, loved one. He said, peace, brother, and chat, man. One love to you all. Right back to you, bro. Right back to you. Folks say, man, I am good. I am courageous, but filled with love. For my folk, I hope you doing good. Lisa Moore sent one out to you as well, Poke. King. I know what you're saying, Lisa Moore. I see it. I see the error. But she said, King Pope Mitchell, good to see you, big brother. Peace and blessings to you and the family. Be one. Blessing you, Queen Nzinga, 7-4, and the family. I hope and pray all is well. All is well, my sister. Be one. There you go. And she sends one to B60M. Good to see you, King. Blessings to you and the family, brother. Be one. Pope said, wasn't the black hats involved with the army? It's crazy how they need an army for our people. It makes me think about how Samson in the Bible was one man who took down armies of men. How Moses left the army to be with his people and God. Yeah, but you're right. Black folk are some powerful and spiritual people. No doubt, bro. No doubt. Queen Nzinga sends her back to Lisa Moore. All love. That's always a blessing to see that, you guys. What up, Tantrum? Sup, homie? Yeah, y'all always putting up that sup, homie. What's up, chat? What's up with you, man? Good to see you up in here, bro. Good to see you up in here, man. You ain't never lied, Henry. Fear and jealousy. But again, if you listen to what the white lady's saying, that's basically what she's saying, right? That's what she's saying. She's saying that most white people see the aura. They see the energy. They feel it. And it astounds them. It puts them in the frame of mind to where they can't comprehend how is this so with these black people that we've been telling these lies about, creating these false narratives, spreading this propaganda. How is it that they are still able to exude this energy and be these people? Yeah, it's a fear as much as it is jealousy. I think what she said, most of them have seen, have experienced. And for those who can't let go of this manufactured, this thing, this racism, which is manufactured, bigotry, you know, they suffer the most. They suffer the most. One thing I don't agree with is her statement in terms of, okay, them coming to sit down at the table with us and expressing whatever, A, B, C, 1, 2, and 3. I say, no. No, y'all do that amongst yourselves. That's where that should start from. There's no need for y'all to come to us and tell us what we already know. I mean, what sense would that make? Back work should begin with yourselves to such a point where you guys got it together, and because you know you got it together, you would realize there's no need for y'all to come and say anything to us because your behavior would speak volumes. You get what I mean? That makes sense. The fuck? I'm just saying, man. I don't know. I'm just saying shit. All right, Chris, see you up in here, man. B1, black first. No doubt. Henry said, man, Brother Bub, you know I agree with Brother Pope. Good to see the evaluation of your platform and the progress, and with positive vibes and mental food for thought and other important subject matters. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you too, Pope. You know, again, I was just told a couple of nights ago that I don't deal with, one of the words is compliments well or something like that. Because I was being told, like, hey, man, you know, there's a certain way you get down, man, that's, you know, that's above board, you know, and damn. Basically, you know, there are not many like you that do that they've run into. And I'm like, oh, man, there ain't nothing there. And wife is like, dude, accept that. You know, don't try to speak it down or, you know, hey, you know, humble yourself. And I'm thinking, I am humble. I'm to a point where, okay, thank you. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. But, no, seriously, man, I think that this is what I think, man. All right? Straight up. For each and every one of us, Polk, Henry, Chris, James, Al, Rakufu, Queen Nzinga, Lisa Moore, Michelle, Kimberly Mitchell, C1, you know, all of you individuals who speak. That I don't think that that's something that's something we supposed to do. And when it's done, there is no need. I don't think it's necessary to plant platitudes and shit, you know, at the feet of people, or hand them off, you know, so giving them flowers or medals, candles, whatever. I just think that should be what we're supposed to do. And we recognize it, we appreciate it by chiming in and being, you know, a part of that get down. You know what I mean? That, I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, man, other than myself. You know, I've always thought like that. Yeah, I'm not good with, I guess, compliments. I don't like that shit. You know what I mean? Because I think that, especially when we're talking about what we talk about and we're trying to deal with what we're dealing with, compliments should be the last thing, you know, that's being discussed, you know, because I think this is what should come natural from each and every one of us. You know, that's just what I think. And you know, and there's a lot more to it, and I don't know if I should go into that, but that's just what I think. We should not reward people, be that through words, gifts, reward, whatever, for what they're supposed to do. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if that makes sense. You know? I don't know if that makes sense. It's like, you know, a kid doing his or her homework because that's what they're supposed to do, but they're only doing it to get the kudos, to get rewards, to get prizes, gifts, praise. Like, no, motherfucker. What you supposed to do? Young ass bastard. Go to school, get this education. Knowing the education is filtered, knowing it's good for you. Get it. Don't come back smiling with your hand out, or, you know, no ego trip, you know, like waiting for praise. No, man, that's what we're supposed to do. I don't know if I expressed that good enough for you guys, but that's how I see it. There should not be praise for this at all. In fact, this is something we all supposed to be doing with someone. If they're not in our immediate lives and circles, someone we run into. This is what we're supposed to do. And I don't think that deserves praise, because I think that the praise should be the fact that this individual gets it and passes it on. And the praise doesn't stop there. It don't stop there. The praise is in what we're doing as a people, as individuals, what we're sharing to our people. We're passing these gems. We're handing them off. And that's what that's supposed to be. I don't know. You guys get it? You know, that's how I think. Well, let me move on, man, because I'm gonna get chewed out for this. Hey, you just kept on going and going and going. Anyway, yeah, man. Yeah, man. Appreciate you guys nonetheless, all right? I appreciate you nonetheless. And it kind of brings me to mind where I was talking to somebody about RGC, or people coming in to the podcast, say, man, here go some tools and fuels, you know, $5, $10 to buy. And I'm saying, hey, man, don't do that, you know, da-da-da. And they're telling me, hey, man, what the hell you doing? I'm like, what the fuck you talking about? Man, you're stopping their blessing. It ain't got nothing to do with you, per se. You know what I mean? That's what their spirit, you know, or whatever that righteousness is, that energy is telling them to do. How the hell, who the hell do you think you are stopping their blessing? You know, and I had to make it make sense to me at first, because, you know, I kind of wired different in that respect. Hey, man, you know, but yeah, I kind of get that, you know. I kind of get that, and I kind of almost liken that to that. It's just what we do. We pay it forward when we know it's worthy. You know what I mean? If it's righteous, and we don't have to speak on it. We did, hey man, just do what we do and let it go. Let it, you know, let it do what it do. You know, I don't know. Anyway, there that is, man. I appreciate you brothers nonetheless. Trust me on that. I do. What's up, James? Say, bud, what's up, loved one? Everything's everything, bro. How you do today? How you do? How you do, man? He said, peace from the hub, man. That's the CPT for those of you who don't know. This is our Compton brother, man. This king, man, out of the CPT. He say, love you, big bro. Right back to you. Love and respect, bro. Real spit, all right? Roscoe said, man, Raymond Skull, man, 102 said, man, dude who set Fred Hampton up is William O'Neill. There you go. Yeah, they gave him a gas station. And I say, I allege, or it's been alleged, they killed his ass a couple of decades later. Straight up. And made it look like he was tired of living. You know, maybe the guilt that got the best of him. Nah, I don't think so. They probably more than likely tapped his phone and heard him telling somebody, hey man, this shit ain't sitting well with me. I got to tell what happened. You know, I don't. Yeah, William O'Neill. Chris said, man, that's the part of the problem. Your own people will sell you out for rice and peas. Yeah, well, you know, and that problem is created or came about because we've been made to believe we are starving. Pac said it. Pac said, man, we're starving in the community. We ain't got nothing. We don't own nothing. And this, that, and the third. And as long as it's like that, these people are going to look at us like ninjas and thugs. We're starving in the community. So much so, we're telling on each other. We're selling each other out, man. For rice and peas. You know, I say it all the time. You know, a lot of these brothers on these podcasts say it's a bag. It's many pennies, man. But you'll continue to lead your brothers and sisters down this path just for that bag of pennies. I don't care how much you profess it is, man. That's nothing, man. That's nothing. It's and actually, it's really nothing because the fact of the matter is, if any of you getting any real substantial amount of money from them, guess what you're doing with it? You're giving it right back. You know, for real, you're giving it right back, literally. Literally, you're giving it right back. So what does that mean? All this shit for nothing? You're doing this shit for nothing. You're doing it for nothing. You know, I ain't gonna ask you how you sleep at night. I already know what your response is. You know, I already know what your response is. It ain't what you want to say, trust me. It's what you would truly say if you didn't think you would be looked at as a punk for telling the truth. You know what you're doing is wrong. I'm going to leave that alone. In due time, it's coming. James say, hey man, one of my things almost died on me last week, bub. I only got 2 plants growing. One is thriving while the other a little slower grow. But almost 6 weeks in, though, big bub. All right. One of the plants was shriveled up and whatever. So I figured it didn't have enough water. And the next couple of days, it came right back to life. We in full effect. Yeah. You're going to say nature is resilient, bub. It's amazing how plants sustain themselves with so little sun and H2O. We're no different, actually. You know, just the difference is that's plant cell as opposed to human cells. And, man, we can survive, man, beyond a lot of people's wildest imaginations. Again, here we are. They're like, how you fuckers are so resilient? How can you be given so much less and act as though you own the damn world? Because that's a fact. We do. We do. We just don't know it. You know, like plants and trees, it's more them than it is us. You know, they just do. You know what I mean? It's some crazy shit. One of my plants, I have to say this because you're speaking of, and I'll get back on point. I'm gonna digress for a hot second, everybody. One of my plants, Gorilla Glue, dropped that thing in there, man, and the tail came. So I'm like, oh yeah, woo, we good. Boom, boom, boom. A week later, I don't know what happened, but you could see where it was starting to brown, and that means it's on its way out. You know what I mean? And I'm like, damn. And I was like, damn, because that was my last seed of the Gorilla Glue. So I'm like, all right, what the fuck? And I'm gonna tell you what, man. I dug it up, a little patch of dirty. That thing couldn't have been about that big, man. I promise you. I watered the soil, fed it, gave it, fertilizer, worm castings, bat guano. I made sure the soil's right. Dropped that thing back in there, man, and I treated it like it was a newborn. That plant right now is the tallest plant out there. That thing about this high. Yeah, about that high. And it's flowering now. I'm like, oh shit, So yeah, man, yeah, they are resilient. And then too, when you think about it, your connection with plants actually matter. So we're connected to this shit. I just said what I said, and I said it for a reason, It's funny, but it's real. Fact shit. Facts. When they say you hug a tree, there's something occurring there. But a lot of us made to think or believe that hugging trees is some stupid shit. When you stand under a tree, there's still a current. You sit at a tree, there's a current. When we're dealing with plants, there's a current. And then when we talk to them, there's a relationship forming. There's communication. It's like they say about snowflakes. If you talk a certain way in a negative sense, the snowflakes will look ugly. But when you talk to them in a positive sense, a loving sense, those snowflakes that we see that are just so iconic at Christmas time or whatever, that's the result. So even before they get here, snow's falling out of the sky, out of the clouds. They're in that shape. What does that mean? You know what I mean? And when we communicate with our shit, man, what we're a part of, I think, and we do it right, we exist together, We help each other or one another along. This just doesn't or should not occur or should be considered for plants and or animals, but human beings as well. We're separated from this shit, man. We got to get back to nature. That's where we are. We're part of this. Get down. That's what makes us different. That's that energy, man, that a lot of people speak of that they can't comprehend and understand. That's how connected we are. But you bringing that plant to life, that's your potential. That's what you have, that power, that energy source to do that. Whether it's the thought process to say, okay, I'm gonna do this, that, and the third for it. Whether it's you talking about, come on, little plant, I ain't got no more seeds. You got to pay. I put a lot of work in it. You're talking, but it's inspiring. You know what I mean? You're gonna make it happen, Mom. You're gonna make it happen. That's what we do. That's what we've been doing. In the face of all this adversity, man, we've been resilient. We've been resilient. Plants can grow in the fucking desert. Resilient. Come on, man. Do your damn thing, Jane. And when that thing when it matures, I want to see a picture. I actually took the pictures last week of my get down. I got one of them, a wedding cake. The colas are starting to get bigger now, and I like that. I need them. Normally, when I grow, my colas be like they're as big as my forearm. This year, kind of half-assed at it. And the height on my trees aren't as big as I want them. They're about this, the Gorilla Glue is about this big. Yep. and all the rest are right under it, maybe in half an inch or an inch. Normally, my trees are like 8 feet, 7 feet. Huge colas. I mean, huge, you know. I could back that up because I got pictures and footage. I videotaped this shit, you know. But anyway, yeah, man, I think it's the effort we put into it, you know what I mean? How we go about doing it, nurturing, you know. And that being said, in terms of applying that to the plants, it's the same thing, though, with our people, our youth. We have to nurture them, man. We have to get to the point where we're talking to them about their growth, their potential, their ability, man, to withstand and go through some shit and still be standing and be better for it, you know? If we're not doing that, man, then, you know, we're being a disservice. We're being a disservice. I've always had an issue with people who love animals and plants and trees more than they love people. That's odd to me. That's just odd to me. I'm not saying don't love animals, don't love trees and shit. But why would people do that and be so into it like they are about animals and trees more than they are about human beings? That's, you know, always been an issue with me, man. I don't, you know, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. A whole lot, man, is going on, y'all. A whole lot. Anyway, I'm glad you say that thing, man. Like I said, I can't wait till it get up some heights. It matured. Send me a picture, too. Yeah. Nature is resilient, just like we are. Just like we are. Mr. Fantastic, long time no see. All right, you dropping them facts up in there. You say William O'Neill was the man who assisted the killing of Fred Hampton. Absolutely. What up with you, though, bro? Good to see you up in here, man. Peace, prosperity, man. Love you for showing up and supporting this get down, bro. Real spit. Real spit. James said, I hate the Bible, bro. The Bible irritates the F out of me. I hate that piece of crap. Burn it for good. I was saying something to a guest of mine on one of the shows, and I was asking, did this individual know where the Bible started from? Because I said, I was kind of point blank with it. Everything starts from something, you know. And that individual agreed. I said, okay, so where did it come from? And, you know, didn't know. And I think I mentioned this a week or so ago. That individual didn't really know, but had an inkling it came from something else, you know. And I said, okay, so then what is more authoritative? You know what I mean? What should be considered legitimate as opposed to what shouldn't be? So if you have the Old Testament, the Bible, but you had something, as a matter of fact, maybe 3 manuscripts of scripture way before the Bible, which one do you trust in? Being that especially the Bible, as they know it, adopted a lot of scripture from the text that came before it, or those texts that came before it. You know, I tell you, man, it's a lot going on, man. A lot that we aren't digesting, we aren't really dealing with as we should. Because I tell you, the fix is in, man. The fix is in, man, and it's been in. You know, and I'm just speaking about the Bible. There are all kind of different religions, man, that are suspect. Not only are they suspect, man, but they've done a disservice to the melanated persuasion, to the melanated people since their existence. They've participated in slavery long after slavery ended with the Europeans. These people continued slavery all the way up into the 1980s. I ain't making that shit up. You know? I ain't making that shit up. There's a lot more to that. Like I said, man, for everything, there's a time and place for everything. You know what I mean? And I'm just saying, I'm not saying nothing to start nothing. I'm just saying, when we're talking about scriptures, when we're talking about these supposedly holy books, there's a lot at play we don't know, man. That we don't know. But we're told to trust, believe, have faith in things we have no real knowledge or understanding of. We're told to do these things by word of mouth, these manuscripts. We're told to trust them just because this is what someone else read. This is what someone else read. Not that this is what someone else passed down through oral tradition. You know what I mean? It's a difference, man. I don't know. But yeah, man, I hear you, James, and I ain't mad at you for it, brother. You might irritate some people, but not me. And again, long as we respectful, I don't have no problem with that opinion. It's yours. That is yours. Man. Then you line me up saying, I can use some toilet paper. I think the Bible make good use for that, Brother Bub. What you think? You a cold dude, man. But it takes me back. It takes me back. Not as toilet paper. We're in jail. And when you're in jail, man, and you smoke tobacco, you don't have no rolling papers, what do you use? So you remember them little bitty ones, the little brown one, the King James version, little pocket size, fit in your pocket? That was our cigarette paper. And I recall, and I'll never forget this, a brother say, man, you desecrating the word, man. That's blasphemy. I say, hey, man, I don't know how you figure that. If I'm smoking it, that means it's going in me. I remember that conversation like it was yesterday. I said, man, it's in me. Don't worry about it. I inhaled it. What more can you ask? I'll never forget it. But a lot of dudes looked at it like that. Yeah, I had a lot of homeboys. I was like, hey, man, ain't no papers. They took tobacco out of prisons and shit. So everybody, we're trying to find that right material to roll us up a rollie. To have, a cigarette. The King James Bible, the little brown pocket was that was the material to smoke, to twist you up a cigarette and smoke it. And then they came with some years later, 2001, 2002, with this toilet paper wrapper, and it was thinner than the Bible paper. And believe you me, man, the dudes was buying that shit. There was no other way of smoking tobacco. Most of the Bibles had been smoked up, I ain't making this shit up, y'all. I ain't making this shit up. It was hard to find a Bible, Salinas Valley back then, man, when the shit was going down. I'm not making that shit up. But yeah, man, it made for good smoking paper. I'll put it to you like that, bro. James said, yeah, man, I can use some toilet paper. I think the Bible make good use for that, Brother Bub. What you think? Then you're going to say, while I sit there and read some real knowledge-based books. You tell me taking a dump. You crazy as fuck, man. Queen of Zing said, man, I think you are to give props where props are due. If you are due, you should accept it. And again, I think, yeah, I can appreciate that, Queen Nzinga. And yet I'm saying, the props should be in what we do as human beings, as black men and women, for our people. And what we do and why we do it, there should be no accolades attached to it. That's all I'm saying. I think that it should be something that's done because we, as black people, as spiritual people, we accept that this is, an obligation, our responsibility. And we do it not to have kudos and, props heaped upon us. You know what I mean? We're doing it. There's a purpose bigger and greater than that. And like I said, man, I'm the type of dude, and all you got to do is just look at it on the surface. If I was like that, I'd be in this get out and talk about, hey, man, what, cash at me. PayPal, man, I do PayPal too, man. Look, man, cash app, man, I do it all, man. Come on up in there, man. Drop me $5, $10, you know what I mean? Because what I'm telling you is some real shit, man. Hey, man, you got to pay for this. Come on. I mean, I liken that to that, and that's not how it should be. It should be free. It should be to where there has to be some recompense, some reward or something given to individuals for doing what the fuck we supposed to do. No praise, no nothing. The praise, again, is in the fact that we're doing this for our people. We're passing something on. We're passing it on. That's the acknowledgement that that person received it, and they don't have to say, "Bub, thank you, nothing." Pass that shit on. I don't know, Again, I think in a lot of respects I'm wired different. That's a Leo for you. I don't know if any of y'all even trust in that, but I'm just saying, I'm wired different in that respect. I just think that that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. I don't think that many brothers and sisters throughout our history who did the work not only did not look for praise, but didn't want it. And said out loud, hey, no, you say that. You can say that, but what you got to offer to this get down we in. You know what I mean? That's what I think. That's what I think. I didn't even want to go back to that subject, and I knew Queen and Zingle would probably be the one to bring that back up. Stubborn lady there. I'm just talking about the way, because the way she spit, she be, hey, I don't want to mess with me. That's all I'm saying. Here we say 100, Brother Bub. Oh, here she go again. There's nothing wrong with accepting a compliment or having your compliments acknowledged. Giving credit where it's due is healthy. Take the recognition when it's earned, brother. Yeah. Now, I can do one or two things. I can address this, I can let it go. I was taught by an old head a long time ago. There's 3 ways we deal with things. We address them, either verbally, physically, or we don't address it at all. Just let it be. I'm going to let that be. All love. Jane said, real talk, bub. And I'm fine. Thank you. I hope you're well. You and yours. I appreciate you, big homie. One. I appreciate you as well, bro. Like I said, man, for each and every one of you that come in here. And, I just know what I know. I'm human, man. I'm living life just like the rest of you. There's so much more that our minds tell us we could be doing. You know what I mean? And so when I come in here, I want to be in such a way, that aspect where you're receiving something that's, like I said, that's good enough for you to want to pass on to somebody else. That's how I see that shit. That's how I see it. The fact that y'all come in is appreciation enough. That y'all would hang out for a couple of hours. No words, no kudos need to be given. You know what I'm saying? It speaks for itself. That's all I'm saying. And I mean that shit. Because I don't do this for that. I don't think I'm guided or led to do this for that. And although this is a different get down in my life that I'm involved in, some might warrant or suggest that you deserve that. I'm like, yeah, man, no, yeah, no, I'm one that came up, man, doing shit I had no business doing. And guess what? I'm being praised for that shit. Yeah, I know it's different now. The whole perspective is different now. But still, it don't sit well with me. That's why I say what I say. That's why I think how I think. That's why I'm uncomfortable when I know in my soul of souls, you know. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and it does not require recognition. I say it all the time. I say, y'all, look, it ain't just this channel. We got to spread out, man. We got to find our people. And we start sharing what we know with our people. Be it this podcast, that podcast. Let's make it work. Let's make it work, you know? The fact that the people are being enlightened is the recognition. You get what I mean? Not because I seem to be at the helm of some shit. No, man. I've said this, man. I mean this shit. I'm a drop in the ocean, bro. It's reality. It's my reality. And I'm all right with that shit. I'm all right with none of y'all. The fact when you show up, there you go, right there. And I smile. I smile, man. I read the comments. I smile. There it go. You know? We having the discussions we have about the issues, man, that exist amongst us. There it go. I don't need no more than that. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You know. And I think that as long as my wife love me for who I am and continue to love me, being a black ass, ignorant, sometimes cat I be, that's all I need, man. You know? Or the opportunity to just say, hey, man, we got to love each other and respect one another. We got to change this shit. That's all I need. And I don't need nobody to tell me, hey, bud, man, righteous, man, you on the right. No, man. I would rather hear him say, man, I'm on that too. Damn, I appreciate that. I'm going to push that too, bro. It should speak for itself, man. That's all I'm saying. Anyway. Uh-oh. and yeah, don't mess with Poke, man. Leave Poke alone about some things. Okay, appreciate that though, Queen Nzinga. I do. Trust me. James say, real talk, bub, and I'm fine. Thank you. I hope you're well, man. You and yours. I appreciate you, big homie. Like back to you, like I said, man, it's an honor. That it speaks for itself, man. You know? The appreciation all it has to do is present itself in this get down. That's appreciation. That's saying what it say. That's saying what it say, man. You know, and there's a couple of brothers I've been looking for, and I know, you know, they're busy. They living life. They got things to do. You know, seeds to raise, you know, but when they show up, it be like, yeah, that's it. And then they drop them gems, them damn selves. Man, you can't beat that. No compliment could beat that. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than us. You know? Real respect. Poke said, man, I left and came back to the Bible thumping. Ooh-wee! My belief is mine. The relationship is mine. It is disrespectful to some of the people to disrespect the Bible. I don't see people dissing the Quran. Okay, and I hear you loud and clear, Pope, and I hope, and James, you hear that as well. Again, this is a space where we are able to agree to disagree, but we keep it respectful. We keep it respectful, all right? Let's look at it like that. Let's continue to deal with it as we have been, all right? Because, yeah, some of our brothers and sisters, that's what it's about for them. So let's not disparage with it, you know. Let's not do that. All right, Pope. James said Gorilla Juice, Gorilla Glue. Nice, okay. James said, man, energy is powerful, bub. Have you seen the experiment where dude put a flower or a rose in a glass of water? He was giving negative energy to one and positive to the other. The first one died faster. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Also, there was a flower, and again, there was an experiment where they were creating snowflakes, and they were talking crazy to one, negative, and positive to the other. The crazy talk, the negative talk, created a snowflake that was horrendous, ugly. Wasn't what many would, consider to be a pristine or a pretty or beautiful snowflake in terms of design. The one that was spoken to positively was what it was supposed to be. So that's what I'm saying, man, in that regard. But at the same time, so it's the same thing. When we're talking to our people, be they young or old, we have to keep in mind that what we say affects one another. Words do matter. Words do matter. And so I want to attach that to what Polk was just saying. That matters. And so let's be mindful of that, you guys. You know what I mean? We've always been that way. Let's continue to be that way. All right? And I don't think it's an intentional thing for anybody to say, we sometimes let our thoughts get away with us. But at the same time, let's be considerate. There are brothers and sisters here who we love and respect that we should be considerate of, all right? There that is. Yeah, I did see that get down, though. Hold on, let me give damn Poke. You had more to that. Let me go back. All right, so yeah, man, my belief is mine. The relationship is mine. It is disrespectful to some of the people to disrespect the Bible. I don't see people dissing the Quran the same way. Say, but when I was doing time and came into my relationship with God, I ended up in San Quentin. And at that time, that joint was still about education. I was also taking a college class, creative writing. I also was blessed to be a part in a special class that was called Black Bible Studies, which detailed all the people who were black in the Bible. It was a blessing to all the brothers that attended, especially for me. It opened my eyes to everything that I needed to know as I walked through my journey. People always talk, they ain't religious, but attack a good thing, attack a good brother who walks in love for his people. But that's out of my pay grade. God will deal with the unjust just like the just. Just like the just. Bub, you've been apologizing for some of the destruction you caused once upon a time. And it's hard to stand for good. It is the reason why we don't get it right all the time and then wonder why the youngsters don't listen to us. I can dig it. All right. You see, I'm going to leave that right there. I came happy and loving my folk. I will leave the same way. Much love to the people in RGC that want to understand your people. I'm good. Peace to the UGC, the RGC B1. All love and respect, though, Poke. I already know what it is, man. Man, I meet you here again on tomorrow, bro. All love and respect. Know that. What it do, fat rat? Busy man. Peace to you and RGC, Big Bug. Right back to you, fat rat. Peace, prosperity to you and your fam, bro. Good to see you up in here, man. And I have to say, yeah, man, it's a little late. Last night, man, well, I didn't actually get chewed out. We went to about, I think it was 8:45, whatever. For me, man, I'm gonna tell you like this. When my energy say go, I go. You know what I mean? And my energy is in tune. I like to think that with the energy that's around me that I'm involved in. You know what I mean? Now, I can say that in one respect. In other words, I can say, man, my energy keep me going all night. But then there's other things I have to consider, man, and that is, I have a life, I have a wife, you know what I mean, and she and I, it's just she and I, we got family, don't get me wrong, but we spend our time together every day. You know what I mean? So I'm saying that to say, man, hey, I love to hang out longer, man. Fat Rat, I love to hear what you got to say. You know what I mean? I love to, recite it, and speak it out to the people, although I know they can read it. I just like that, man. Okay, got you, bro. But yeah, my time is short, man. All love and respect to each and every one of you. Hear me, Stella say, man, Mom used to talk to her plants. She said they understand, LOL, and I understand as an older man with knowledge on the subject now. I do it. I talk to my weed plants all the time, man. I get first thing in the morning, man. I'm up, boom. I go out, man. I look at them. I care for them. I let them know, hey, man, you're a beautiful thing. What did you do it? Where you get this energy? Damn, you looking good, girl. That type of thing. But anyway, man, that's what it is, man. We have a connection with nature. We've been led, we've been indoctrinated to think otherwise, to believe otherwise. We are nature, at its finest. We are nature's creation, whatever that is, whatever created that, created us. That's what it is, man. All right? So just, I think we should take that in stride, man. Don't think too hard on it, Don't think too hard on it. Especially those of you like myself who are just now coming into the know spiritually. Take your time with it. Take your time with it. It will allow you to catch up, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. So all love and respect, man. Hey, Pope, man, love and respect, bro. Just know that. And I'm pretty sure, man, the brother would say the same. All right? It's real spit. Fat Rat say, man, look, man, I've been sorting Georgia peaches for 5 hours. Feeding our people whole foods without their taxes. Yeah. Georgia peaches. Damn, that's crazy. I stopped eating peaches too, man. I tell you what. It's been a few years. Because I think the last time I went and got a peach, not only did it not taste right, it wasn't succulent. It didn't burst when I bit into it. You know what I mean? And it was something about the seed. It just wasn't big. It was like super small. Anybody eat peach, and not only that, man. You know how the tendrils, the meat of the peach be all up in, the shell, the seed. You know what I mean? All up in that thizzle. Wasn't none of that. I thought about it. I said I could have shook it and probably would have heard it moving up in there. You know what I mean? I ain't ate no peaches in about 3 years. That's some real shit, But man, hey man, peace and prosperity to you, Fat Rat, man. Stepping out there, man, and getting down with the people, man. Feeding the people, man. We may need more of that, man, in the coming days. Who knows? Who knows, man? Who knows? Stay doing what you're doing, bro. Love and appreciate you for it. I love to get to that point. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Trust that. That being said, man, love yourself, man. Continue to love others, man. That's the only way that's going to happen, man. And love yourself first. You got to love yourself first to the point where you'll love others. You'll take them into consideration. And you'll treat them how you want to be treated. You'll speak to them, speak about them, speak of them. Same way you would want that. That's the truth, man. That's the truth. Take care of yourselves so that you're in a position to take care of our brothers and sisters who may need that same care. That same love, may not know it. We have an obligation, man. We're here for a reason. There's a purpose for our being other than what we think it is, Let's get on board. All power is in the people. All power is in the people. That much I know. I don't know nothing else. I know that. That being said, you are, you have been, and you will be Under the Groove. Good night to the RGC and everybody else. One love, people. I'll see you on tomorrow. Hold on, let me bump this. I want to bump this. A little bit of this thing right here. All right.
I remember family dinners, everybody at the table. Elders telling stories, teaching lessons when they able. Grandma's voice carry history through the room, showing us the roots before we ever saw the bloom. Now we living in a time where the connection got lost. Where we count what we gain but forget what it costs. Everybody got a phone but nobody wanna call. Everybody got a platform but nobody wanna build walls. Not walls that divide us, walls that protect. A foundation of knowledge, a future with respect. We gotta teach the children who they are and where they came from. Show them they're your kings and queens before the world names them. Community is power when the people unite. A family standing together can turn darkness to light.
Under the groove, when knowledge becomes wisdom, struggle becomes strength. We're family built together, and we break those chains. What's under your groove?
Is it love?
Is it purpose?
Is it purpose?
Is it unity?
Is it community?
Wake up, black people. It's time we elevate the future in our hands. We can't afford to wait. Under the groove.
This ain't about where you started, it's about where you headed. The lessons from the past are the words that protect us. Every OG got a story, every big homie got a duty. Don't just tell the youth what's wrong, show them what's possible truly. Teach ownership, teach discipline, teach knowledge yourself. Teach them building the future, it's the ultimate wealth. No more watching our brothers fall victim to the streets. It's time we put the healing back into our communities. From Los Angeles streets to every city across the nation. We need consciousness, unity, and family, restoration. So when they ask,
What's under your groove?
tell them consciousness,
Knowledge,
wisdom,
unity,
community,
family.
love.
Because when we change our minds,
We change our future.
and that's under the groove.
This message is for all of the OGs and big homies.
It's up to us to teach the youth,
It's up to us,
to pass down the knowledge,
it's up to us.
to show them there's another way,
Not destruction,
but creation,
not division,
but unity,
not anger.
wisdom. The future is watching what we do today
So reach back, guide the next generation.
and leave something greater behind. Under the groove.
Under the groove.
All right, everybody have a peaceful night, y'all.
Deeper than deep.
Yeah, homie.
Remix.
One love, everybody. Peace.